Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my 5-minute interview coaching series. Today, I want to dive deeper into a fascinating topic that goes beyond interview techniques. We're going to look at NLP communication filters, specifically deletion, distortion, and generalization, and explore how recognizing these filters can help you communicate more clearly and avoid confusion about what you're implying versus what the interviewer is inferring. First, let's clarify what these filters are. NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, points out that our brains naturally filter out vast amounts of information we encounter. We do this through deletion, distortion, and generalization. Deletion happens when we omit certain details, often presuming the other person already knows them or forgetting to mention them altogether. Distortion is when we unintentionally reshape or twist certain elements of our experience, maybe to simplify a story or to emphasize certain parts, ending up with a version that isn't entirely accurate. And finally, generalization is when we make broad statements like, I always lead projects this way, or that strategy never works, which can sound vague or overly sweeping. Now, in an interview setting, clarity is crucial. If you rely too heavily on these filters, you might leave out important facts, paint an incomplete or skewed picture of your achievements, or give an answer that feels too broad to the interviewer. Think of a time you said something like, I successfully managed a large project without mentioning how many team members you had or how long that it took. That's deletion. Or maybe you exaggerated how big the project was to make it sound more impressive, which is a subtle distortion. If you find yourself saying things like, I always do it this way, that's a sign of generalization. This ties directly into the difference between implying and inferring. When you speak, you might imply certain details. Perhaps you assume the interviewer knows the context of the role. Meanwhile, the interviewer infers your meaning from your words. If you haven't been explicit, the interviewer might draw the wrong conclusion. For instance, if you say, I led a team to complete a major marketing campaign, you might be implying that you had full managerial authority, while the interviewer could infer that you had a much larger role than you actually did. So how do we combat these NLP filters in interviews? The first step is to be specific. Instead of saying you managed a large project, tell the interviewer you led a project with a 6-person team over 3 months, increasing a 20% increase in lead conversions. The more concrete the details you provide, the less you rely on these filters of deletion or distortion. Second, use concrete examples. If you want to show creativity, don't just say you're creative. Tell a story when you actually came up on the spot with a solution for the client's problem. Third, double check accuracy. If you rehearse your interview stories beforehand and be honest about your contributions, you avoid overgeneralization. Like, we always use that strategy. Instead, share 1 or 2 tangible instances that demonstrate your approach. Finally, invite clarification. You can end your response by saying something like, would you like me to expand on any specific detail? This opens the door for the interviewer to say, actually, tell me a little bit more about how you delegated the tasks, or I'd love to hear more about your communication strategy. Let's look at a quick example. If the interviewer asks, could you tell me a time when you improved a process? And you answer, sure, I improved our onboarding process. It was a lot better for the new hires. That statement is packed with deletion, distortion, and generalization. Instead, what you could say is, absolutely, our onboarding process originally took our new hires about 4 days to complete, which was frustrating for them and time-consuming for HR. I worked closely with HR to consolidate all the forms into a single digital form and revamped the training schedule so sessions weren't repetitive. As a result, we cut onboarding time down from 4 days to 2, and our new hires reported feeling far less overwhelmed. Notice how that second version is much more detailed and avoids the pitfalls of those NLP filters. Ultimately, recognizing these filters helps you communicate more precisely, especially during high-stakes scenarios like interviews. It also minimizes the gap between what you imply and what the interviewer infers, ensuring that you present your skills and achievements accurately. So there we have it. If you found this helpful, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss any of the tips coming up in the future. And also in the comments, let me know if you've ever caught yourself using these filters when talking about your experiences. Next episode, we're going to explore a topic on an article that I wrote recently on LinkedIn about how the CIA of all things can help you ace an interview. I'm really excited to go into this one, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next episode.